Lately, I've been completely locked into single-player games on PS5. I'd finish a story, take a breath, and immediately load up another. At some point, I stopped keeping track of time and just kept chasing that one more chapter feeling. From big cinematic adventures to smaller, surprising gems, I ended up trying far more games than I originally planned. And after sinking way too many hours into all kinds of genres, I've put together a list of the 20 games that left the strongest impression. Let's get into it. The first time I tried Risk of Rain 2, I completely underestimated how easily it could take over my entire evening. You start off calm, exploring the map and thinking you're in control, and then the game quietly turns up the pressure. Enemies escalate, waves get denser, and suddenly you're sprinting, dodging, and praying your items are strong enough to keep you alive. That gradual shift from relaxed exploration to full-on chaos is what makes the experience so addictive. On PS5, the game feels incredibly smooth even when the screen is exploding with effects, abilities, and a ridiculous number of enemies pushing in from all sides. The fast load times keep the pace tight, letting you dive back into another run instantly. Every session feels different, every item combo creates a new playstyle, and every mistake teaches you something. It's energetic, unpredictable, and constantly pushing you into that one more run mindset. The soundtrack ties everything together perfectly. The music starts off atmospheric and calm, but as the danger level rises, it shifts into intense, pulsing tracks that match the chaos on screen. It creates this constant sense of momentum, pushing you to keep moving, keep fighting, and keep adapting. By the time a run ends, whether you survive or get overwhelmed, you feel like you've just been through a full cinematic battle. What really elevates the experience is how each character completely changes the rhythm of the game. Whether you're playing the agile huntress, the tanky engineer, or the high-risk, high-reward loader, every survivor adds a new layer of strategy. Learning their strengths, unlocking new abilities, and experimenting with different item synergies gives the game an impressive amount of replay value. Even after dozens of runs, it still finds ways to surprise you. Returnal completely blew my mind and then slowly put it back together. Housemarque took the challenge of a roguelike and wrapped it in a dark, psychological horror story. You play as Celine, who crashes on an alien planet, dies, and wakes up at her ship again, remembering everything. Over time, it becomes clear this loop has been going on far longer than anyone could imagine. The gameplay loop is incredibly addictive. Every death hurts, but you immediately want to try again, hoping for better gear or finally beating a tough boss. The weapons feel powerful, and the alien enemies start to make sense once you get familiar with them. The DualSense controller adds another layer, letting you feel rain, different weapon modes, and even Celine's heartbeat in tense moments. What makes Returnal so memorable is how every element ties together. The world feels alive and dangerous, from shifting alien landscapes to unexpected enemy behavior. The music and sound design add constant tension, making even exploration feel intense. And the way the story slowly unfolds keeps you guessing. Every new run can reveal something you missed before. It's a game that rewards persistence, attention to detail, and a willingness to embrace the challenge, leaving you with a sense of accomplishment unlike almost any other game. The story is what really makes Returnal special. The horror comes from the mystery, not cheap jump scares. Audio logs, strange memories, and eerie house segments slowly piece together a story that unfolds over multiple runs. It's a psychological thriller disguised as a roguelike, and it's unlike anything else. It will push your patience, but if you stick with it, the experience is unforgettable. Bluepoint Games didn't just remake Demon's Souls, they rebuilt it into a masterpiece that respects the original and shows what the PS5 can really do. This is the game that started the Souls-like genre, now recreated from the ground up with stunning modern detail. Every stone hallway, every torch, and every terrifying creature has been brought to life with incredible precision. The Tower of Latria is still pure nightmare fuel, now enhanced with ray-traced lighting. What makes this remake impressive is how it keeps the original's brutal challenge while adding small quality-of-life improvements. Load times are almost instant, turning the death and retry loop into something smooth and surprisingly calming. You die, you learn, and you're back in the fight within seconds. Combat is still heavy and deliberate. Every swing, dodge, and parry demands timing and patience. This isn't a button-mashing action game. It's a tactical combat puzzle where observation and discipline matter more than aggression. Each area of Boletaria feels like its own nightmare. The Shrine of Storms is a windy, haunted battlefield, while the Valley of Defilement is just as grim and suffocating as players remember. The variety keeps the challenge fresh, with every zone requiring different strategies. The boss fights are legendary. Taking on enemies like the Flame Lurker is about more than damage. It's about spacing, timing, and managing your resources. Finally, beating a boss that stopped you for hours is incredibly satisfying. Multiplayer elements add a sense of shared struggle. Bloodstains show where others fell. Messages offer hints or tricks, and summoning or invasions keep the world feeling connected without breaking immersion. If you're new to From Software style games, this is a great starting point. And for longtime Souls fans, seeing this classic rebuilt for PS5 makes it absolutely worth returning to. Larian Studios took the idea of choices matter and pushed it further than ever. Baldur's Gate 3 isn't just a typical RPG, it's a story where your decisions shape almost everything around you. Every conversation, every action, and even small gestures can have consequences. Your choices can change quests hours later, affect relationships with companions, or completely alter the ending of the game. The world feels alive because it reacts to the way you play, making each decision feel meaningful. Creating your character goes beyond just picking stats. Your background, class, and even race influence how the world sees and interacts with you. Playing as a warlock feels mysterious and strategic, while playing as a paladin feels righteous and commanding, each offering a different gameplay and story experience. The companions you meet are fully fleshed out, with their own goals, flaws, and personalities, making interactions feel rich and dynamic. Even romance feels natural and fully integrated into the story rather than being an afterthought. The turn-based combat is like a complex tactical puzzle. You can confront enemies head-on, sneak past them, persuade them, or creatively use the environment to your advantage. Each battle encourages experimentation and strategy, rewarding clever thinking rather than just brute force. Everything is fully voiced, supported by cinematic cutscenes and polished animations that make the world feel alive. A first playthrough can easily take over 100 hours, and even after finishing, you'll likely want to play again to see how different choices can completely change the story and the world around you. Every time I dive into Disco Elysium, I find myself completely losing track of time, so much so that I once forgot I'd pause the game just to make a cup of tea. The game's world is an intricate tapestry of strange, unforgettable characters, biting humor, and deeply layered themes that challenge both your perception and your morality. What sets it apart is its focus on dialogue and decision-making rather than combat. Every choice you make ripples through the story, and conversations can pivot from grave and profound to absurdly humorous in the span of a single line, keeping you constantly engaged and often catching you off guard. The Final Cut takes this experience even further, adding full voice acting and new side quests that feel naturally integrated into the existing narrative. On the PS5, the game runs exceptionally smoothly, which makes navigating its dense, conversation-heavy structure far more approachable and enjoyable. The world feels alive in a way that rewards curiosity. Exploring every alley, every side quest, and every character interaction often reveals insights that significantly shape how you experience the story. Beyond its narrative and dialogue, Disco Elysium also excels in the way it makes you feel the weight of your choices. Your character's personality, skills, and even inner thoughts influence how the world responds to you, creating a unique experience each time you play. The game encourages reflection, challenging you to consider not just what you do, but why you do it and how it shapes your understanding of the city and its inhabitants. Combined with the atmospheric soundtrack, richly detailed environments, and the sheer unpredictability of human interactions, the PS5 version turns every session into an immersive, almost meditative experience, one where strategy, empathy, and curiosity are just as essential as traditional gameplay mechanics. It's a rare game that manages to be both intensely personal and expansively complex, leaving a lasting impression long after you put down the controller. It's not just a game you play, it's a world you inhabit, one that lingers in your mind long after the credits roll. Thoughtful decision-making, careful observation, and a willingness to explore every corner of the narrative all pay off, making Disco Elysium: The Final Cut an unforgettable journey that resonates on multiple levels, both intellectually and emotionally. I always thought the first God of War was the peak, but Ragnarok proved I was wrong. It builds on everything the previous game did well and raises it even further, all without losing the emotional core that made the series stand out. The connection between Kratos and Atreus has also changed. It's not just a father helping his young son anymore, it's a teenager trying to find his own path while his father is doing everything he can to protect him from a future neither of them fully understands. Santa Monica Studio also made Kratos feel more human without changing who he is. He's still powerful and intense in every fight, but you also see moments where he's softer and more honest. Even when he talks in that rough voice of his, the emotional scenes still hit in a strong way. The combat system feels like they took what worked before and made it even more satisfying. Every axe throw has real weight behind it, every shield bash hits hard, and pulling off long combos feels great every single time. What really surprised me though was how they handled the final part of the Norse story. I won't spoil anything because it's something you should see for yourself, but they close important story points while also teasing new things for the future. The boss fights are on another level. They have multiple stages, smart mechanics, and little details in the environment that add to the moment. and the visuals are incredible. It feels like the PS5 is showing its full power throughout the game. The facial animations are so well done that it's easy to forget you're looking at digital characters. If you played the 2018 game and you're unsure about this one, you shouldn't be. Ember Lab basically asked, what if a Pixar movie was playable? And the result is one of the most charming yet unexpectedly demanding games you'll find on PS5. Kena looks like a simple kid's adventure at first. Bright colors, wholesome visuals, and an inviting world full of adorable rot creatures. But the game quickly proves it has real depth and challenge beneath that friendly surface. You play as Kena, a young spirit guide helping troubled souls find peace, and the story explores meaningful themes like grief, acceptance, and the slow process of healing. The Road aren't just cute mascots, they're central to combat, puzzle solving, and traversal, adding personality to every moment. Watching them cheer, hide, or scatter during intense fights gives the game a surprising emotional punch. Combat starts out approachable, but boss battles are tough and require real focus. One moment you're peacefully exploring and solving puzzles, and the next you're dodge rolling through frantic encounters against corrupted spirits that hit far harder than you expect. What makes the game truly shine is how its beautiful presentation supports the narrative. Each area visually represents the emotional journey of the spirits you're helping, and watching corrupted zones slowly return to life feels genuinely rewarding. The puzzle design is clever without becoming overwhelming, and using the rot creatively becomes its own satisfying layer of gameplay. What makes the game truly shine is how its beautiful presentation supports the narrative. Each area visually represents the emotional journey of the spirits you're helping, and watching corrupted zones slowly return to life feels genuinely rewarding. The puzzle design is clever without becoming overwhelming, and using the rot creatively becomes its own satisfying layer of gameplay. If you want proof that a small indie team can deliver AAA level quality, Kena is essential. Just don't underestimate the difficulty hiding behind its adorable art style. NeoWiz Games took the classic story of Pinocchio and completely reimagined it, turning it into a dark, gothic, and brutally challenging experience. Lies of P stands out as one of the strongest Souls-like games released in recent years. You play as P, a puppet trying to become human, making your way through the ruined city of Krat, which is overrun by violent machines, twisted creatures, and out-of-control puppets. One of the smartest features is the lying system. At certain moments, you can choose to lie or tell the truth, and these decisions slowly shape P's personality and the ending you get. The more you lie, the more human he becomes. It's a clever twist on the original Pinocchio story, but darker, more emotional, and built around a moody gothic atmosphere. The weapon system is also a highlight. Instead of being stuck with preset weapons, you can mix different handles and blades to create your own combinations. This lets you build weapons that match your preferred playstyle, whether you want something heavy and slow or light and fast. Boss fights are challenging but feel fair, pushing you to learn patterns, use your tools wisely, and think before every dodge or attack. The city of Krat feels rich with detail, and each area tells part of the story through its visuals. Broken streets, abandoned buildings, and eerie environments all give hints about what went wrong. If you love difficult action RPGs that bring something fresh to the formula, Lies of P is a fantastic choice. I know a lot of people hear remaster and think it's the same game with better graphics, but The Last of Us Part 1 is much more than that. It feels like you're experiencing the story again, but this time the technology finally matches how emotional the game really is. The facial animations are so detailed that you can almost read every thought on the characters' faces. When Joel makes a hard choice, you feel the tension. When Ellie gets excited about something from the old world, it feels even more genuine. Naughty Dog rebuilt the whole game from the ground up, and the infected look and sound more frightening than ever. The clicking noises in 3D audio, especially with a headset, are honestly enough to ruin your sleep. The new visuals also make the world feel fuller. Walking through empty homes and seeing old photos and little personal items makes every place feel like it had real people living there. The gameplay feels modern now. Stealth is more important, resources are tight, and every fight feels risky. And if you've never played this story before, you're about to see why so many people call it one of the best ever made. Joel and Ellie's relationship carries the whole game, and watching it grow is still one of the strongest parts of the experience. This remake proves that going back to a classic can lead to something even more powerful. Another thing that stands out is how well the remake handles atmosphere. Every location feels heavier and more tense than before. The lighting, shadows, and small environmental details make each area feel dangerous even before enemies show up. You can hear buildings creak, wind move through broken windows, and distant infected echo through empty streets. Guerrilla Games really pushed the idea of robot dinosaurs to a whole new level, and it works. Forbidden West takes what Zero Dawn did well, and expands it in every way. The world is huge, but it never feels empty. Almost every area has something to discover, whether it's a small detail, a hidden item, or a new machine to study. Aloy has also grown a lot as a character. You can feel the pressure she's under, and the voice acting sells it completely. You hear the tiredness, the stress, and the responsibility in every line. The machines, though, are the real stars. Fighting a Tremor Tusk doesn't feel like a simple boss battle. It feels like facing a massive mechanical creature that could actually exist. The way they move, the way their armor breaks apart, and the way you have to plan your attacks makes every fight feel smart and tactical. The story also goes in directions you might not expect. It talks about environmental issues without being heavy-handed. Instead, it shows the effects of the old world through gameplay, exploration, and the machines themselves. Climbing huge metal ruins and finding pieces of history through small details makes the world feel alive. I've spent hours just walking around without touching a quest, and the photo mode is so good that it can easily take up an entire afternoon. If you enjoy single-player games that treat you with respect and offer beautiful visuals, strong gameplay, and a world worth exploring, Forbidden West is an easy recommendation. Every time I fire up Gran Turismo 7, it's easy to underestimate how quickly time disappears. What starts as a short race often stretches into an hour of fine-tuning lines, experimenting with car setups, or chasing that perfect lap time. There's a quiet, almost meditative satisfaction in mastering a challenging corner, or finally acquiring a car you've had your eye on for weeks. The PS5 elevates this experience further, particularly through the DualSense controller. Every turn, bump, and change in traction is communicated subtly through haptic feedback, giving you a tangible sense of your car's weight and grip. It's not just about visual immersion. The physical sensation of driving adds a layer of realism that makes every corner feel consequential. Beyond the single-player experience, Gran Turismo 7 truly shines when you step into its online modes. Racing against real players adds a thrilling layer of unpredictability. Every opponent behaves differently, forcing you to adapt on the fly and refine your strategy. Seasonal events, tournaments, and leaderboards give long-term goals to chase, making the game feel alive and constantly evolving. The game balances accessibility with depth. Whether you're a casual racer or a dedicated simulation enthusiast, it rewards patience, precision, and persistence. Each event feels purposeful, contributing to the sense that you're slowly building a personal racing legacy, one race at a time. Combined with the PS5's smooth performance and responsive controls, competing online isn't just about speed, it's about precision, awareness, and the satisfaction of testing your skills against the best. It's this combination of solo mastery and competitive depth that cements Gran Turismo 7 as a racing experience that keeps pulling you back, lap after lap. I've played this game several times, and the intro still gives me chills. Swinging through Manhattan in the original Spider-Man never loses its magic. Insomniac didn't just make a good superhero game, they made one that truly understands Spider-Man. They captured Peter Parker's everyday problems just as well as his heroic moments. Seeing him deal with rent, work stress, and relationships while trying to protect the city makes him feel more human. The suits are a whole addiction on their own. I spent hours unlocking new ones just to swing around looking cool, and the special abilities tied to each suit actually change the way you fight. The combat feels just right, easy to learn, but with enough depth to keep you improving. Once you get the timing for dodges, web combos, and environmental attacks, it starts to feel like you're in a full action movie. Mr. Negative was a great choice for the main villain because his story is so closely tied to Peter's life, not just Spider-Man's. Even the side missions matter, whether you're taking photos, stopping crimes, or finding old backpacks that add small pieces to Peter's past. Another thing that makes this game special is how alive the city feels. Manhattan isn't just a backdrop, it reacts to you. NPCs cheer when you swing by, news reports change based on your actions, and small details like street music, traffic noise, and ambient conversations make the world feel real. It's one of the few games where exploring without any goal still feels rewarding, because every corner of the map adds something to the experience. The PS5 remaster makes everything cleaner and almost removes loading entirely. If you've ever wanted to feel what it's really like to be Spider-Man, this is the game that delivers that feeling perfectly. Arcane Studios took the time loop concept and created one of the most stylish puzzle shooters ever made. Deathloop isn't just about shooting people, it's about gathering information, recognizing patterns, and slowly unraveling this complex chain of cause and effect until you can pull off the perfect assassination run. You play as Colt, stuck in a time loop, trying to kill 8 targets in a single day to finally break free. But you can't just run and gun. You need to learn schedules, uncover secrets, and figure out how to manipulate events so your targets end up in the right places at the right times. The investigation system is brilliant. Every loop teaches you something new. An overheard conversation, a hidden note, a private meeting. All of it carries over, turning each run into progress. The gunplay feels fantastic with weapons that have real personality. But the supernatural abilities steal the show, teleporting across rooftops, linking enemies so damage spreads, rewinding time to escape death. These powers make every fight feel unique and stylish. Juliana adds a constant threat. Sometimes she's AI, sometimes another player, but she's always hunting you and trying to protect the loop. Her invasions are tense, unpredictable, and keep exploration exciting. The retro-futuristic 70s aesthetic gives the game a bold identity, and the soundtrack fits the tone perfectly. The story digs into identity, purpose, and what it means to perfect yourself across endless retries. Colt and Juliana's banter is sharp, funny, and surprisingly meaningful. If you enjoy games that reward curiosity and experimentation, Deathloop delivers an experience unlike anything else on PS5. Square Enix decided to go for a dark fantasy story with giant magical creatures battling like kaiju, and Final Fantasy XVI nails it. The series finally embraces a more mature tone. Clive Rosfield's journey is full of family drama, political betrayal, and huge battles that feel bigger than anything the franchise has done before. The icon fights are incredible, massive, multi-stage battles where you're actually controlling these giant creatures instead of just watching cutscenes. The combat mixes fast, action-packed moves like Devil May Cry with classic Final Fantasy magic, making it exciting but also deep enough to master. The story explores serious themes like slavery, belief systems, and corruption with real weight. Clive's voice actor brings strong emotion to every scene, making his struggles feel personal. The world is detailed and immersive, with each kingdom feeling unique. Even the side quests matter, helping to expand the world rather than just filling time. What really makes Final Fantasy XVI stand out is how cinematic and alive the world feels. From sweeping landscapes to the smallest environmental details, everything draws you in. The music elevates every battle and emotional moment, making fights and story beats hit harder. Even downtime exploring or interacting with characters adds to the sense that this is a living, breathing world. It's a game that blends spectacle, story, and gameplay seamlessly, showing that Final Fantasy can still surprise and impress longtime fans and newcomers alike. Final Fantasy XVI proves the series can grow up while still delivering an experience that feels meaningful. Ubisoft finally listened to longtime fans who wanted the series to return to its roots, and Assassin's Creed Mirage delivers exactly that. This isn't a massive 100-hour RPG filled with crafting trees and endless side quests. Instead, it returns to the classic formula, focused, tight, and built around stealth, parkour, and clean storytelling. You play as Basim in 9th century Baghdad, following his rise from street thief to skilled assassin, and the game treats his journey with the attention it deserves. Baghdad itself is stunning. The city feels alive with merchants shouting in the marketplaces, scholars arguing in open courtyards, and guards patrolling in patterns that actually make sense. The parkour system has been refined so movement feels smooth and natural. Running across rooftops, climbing walls, and navigating tight spaces feels fast and fluid again, like the series finally remembered that traversal should be exciting, not something you force yourself through. Stealth has truly returned as the heart of the game. Social stealth, blending into crowds, pickpocketing, stalking enemies, and planning silent takedowns are all back and more polished than they've been in years. Every assassination feels like solving a carefully designed problem. You observe enemy routes, look for openings, set up distractions, and strike at the perfect moment. Getting detected isn't meant to turn into a giant sword fight. It's a sign that you should rethink your strategy. The story is more personal than recent entries. Instead of saving the world yet again, you follow Basim's character, his struggles, and his mentorship with Roshan. The performances are strong, and the cutscenes feel purposeful rather than filler between missions. Mirage also brings back the investigation elements that defined early Assassin's Creed. You're not just chasing icons on a map, you're gathering clues, talking to witnesses, and building an understanding of your target before making your move. If you've felt disconnected from where the series has gone recently and missed the feeling of the original Assassin's Creed games, Mirage is exactly the course correction fans have been waiting for. It shows that sometimes going back can be the smartest way forward. Every time you step into WRC Generations, it becomes clear that rally racing is as much about mental precision as it is about reflexes. Each stage demands unwavering focus, and even a small misjudgment can send you off course. The combination of ever-changing terrain, sudden weather shifts, and high-speed corners ensures that no two runs ever feel the same. That constant challenge keeps your adrenaline high, and when you finally conquer a tricky section or complete a flawless stage, the reward feels genuinely hard-earned. It's a game that tests patience, skill, and adaptability in equal measure. On the PS5, the experience is elevated to another level. The visuals are crisp and detailed, every muddy splash, drifting dust cloud, and swaying tree is rendered with striking clarity. Handling improvements make each car feel distinct and responsive, while immersive audio cues from engine roars to gravel crunching beneath tires pull you deeper into the rally environment. In addition to its career mode, WRC Generations excels at capturing the thrill of unpredictability that defines real rallying. No matter how familiar you become with a stage, sudden changes in weather or terrain can turn a routine run into a high-stakes challenge. Snow can reduce grip in an instant, mud can slow your pace, and rain can obscure your vision, all demanding quick reflexes and careful judgment. The game also rewards exploration and mastery of its diverse environments. Each country and rally stage offers unique challenges, from narrow mountain passes to fast forest tracks, requiring different techniques and strategies. Learning to read the terrain, anticipate hazards, and adjust your driving style gives a satisfying depth to every run. Beyond the adrenaline of individual stages, WRC Generations shines in its career and progression systems. Unlocking new cars, upgrading parts, and tackling increasingly challenging rallies gives a real sense of growth and accomplishment. Every victory feels meaningful because it directly impacts your standing in championships and shapes the choices you make for future events. Combined with the PS5's smooth performance and immersive presentation, these layers make the experience feel like a complete rally career in your hands, keeping you engaged long after the first few. Media Molecule passed the Little Big Planet universe to Sumo Digital, and they somehow created one of the most joyful platformers on the PS5. Sackboy, a big adventure isn't trying to reinvent the genre. Instead, it focuses on doing everything right, and the result is a game that feels warm, cheerful, and incredibly polished. From Sackboy's charming stitch design to the upbeat soundtrack that sticks in your head for days, the entire experience radiates positivity. The platforming is excellent. Every jump lands exactly where you expect it to. Movements feel smooth, the physics are natural, and the controls are so responsive that mistakes always feel like something you can learn from. The level design balances creativity and challenge perfectly. Each world introduces new mechanics gradually, giving you time to adjust before raising the difficulty. But nothing stands out more than the music levels. These aren't normal stages, they're full rhythm experiences where platforms and enemies move in sync with the soundtrack. The famous Uptown Funk level feels like a celebration. When you hit the rhythm and see Sackboy dancing along as the world pulses to the beat, it's impossible not to smile. Co-op is another highlight. Playing with friends turns every stage into hilarious chaos. One moment you're helping each other, the next you're accidentally throwing someone off a ledge. The game welcomes all skill levels, letting experienced players chase rewards while newcomers simply enjoy the ride. Customization is a big part of the charm. Unlocking costumes becomes its own obsession. Whether you're dressing Sackboy as a knight or an astronaut, every outfit feels expressive, and his animations shift to match his look. What really impressed me is how respectful the game is of your time. Levels are short enough to enjoy in quick sessions, collectibles are rewarding without being overwhelming, and the difficulty curve is smooth. It's pure comfort gaming, colorful, heartfelt, and fun from start to finish. If you want a break from dark, serious experiences, Sackboy delivers exactly that. Insomniac Games basically used Rift Apart as a PS5 tech showcase, and in the process created one of the best platformers ever made. The entire game feels like a celebration of what the PS5 is capable of, and even after multiple playthroughs, the technical tricks still feel like magic. The dimensional rifts aren't just flashy effects, they're a core part of gameplay and storytelling. Thanks to the PS5's ultra-fast SSD, you can jump through a portal and instantly land in a completely different world with new physics, enemies, and visuals, all without a single loading screen. It's seamless in a way that doesn't feel possible until you see it happen. Rivet is also one of the smartest additions Insomniac has made to the series. She isn't just a copy of Ratchet, she's her own character with her own personality, motivations, and emotional depth. Her interactions with Clank and the rest of the cast feel fresh, and the parallel storyline between her dimension and Ratchet's adds variety and momentum to the entire adventure. The weapons are where the game goes all out. The burst fire gun turns enemies into retro-looking pixels, the topiary sprinkler freezes enemies in place by turning them into garden decorations, and the Rhino 8 is a chaotic, reality-bending powerhouse that destroys everything while blasting dramatic orchestral music. Every weapon feels distinct, fun, and satisfying to use, and the upgrade system encourages experimenting with all of them rather than sticking to one favorite. Visually, the game is pure animated movie quality. Every scene looks like it could be straight from a high-end Pixar film, with smooth character animations and dazzling particle effects during battles. The haptic feedback on the DualSense controller makes everything feel even more immersive. You can feel the weight, tension, and impact of each weapon in your hands. The story also carries surprising emotional weight. It's about family, belonging, and understanding your place in the universe, all wrapped in a vibrant, action-filled adventure that appeals to both longtime fans and newcomers. If you want a game that shows off what the PS5 can truly achieve while still being incredibly fun, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart is essential playing. I'll be honest, Death Stranding is strange, really strange, and that's part of what makes it incredible. Hideo Kojima set out to make a game about connection and loneliness, wrapped in one of the most unusual sci-fi stories you'll ever play. You step into the shoes of Sam, a delivery man in a world full of invisible, ghost-like creatures. Even the rain can aid you. It sounds odd, but carrying heavy cargo across empty landscapes becomes oddly calming and satisfying. The online system is brilliant. Other players leave helpful tools in your world: ladders, ropes, bridges. You might be struggling up a hill and suddenly spot a ladder someone else left behind. That small moment of relief is exactly what the game is about. The director's cut adds plenty of new content, including weapons, areas, and even a racing mode. Norman Reedus gives a strong performance, and Mads Mikkelsen is genuinely intimidating. What really sets Death Stranding apart is how it makes you care about the world and the people in it. Every delivery feels important, not just for progress, but for connecting isolated settlements and rebuilding society. The landscapes are massive and hauntingly beautiful, and the quiet moments of walking or climbing give you time to reflect on the story and your place in it. It's a game that doesn't rush you, and that patience makes every triumph, every connection, and every challenge feel meaningful. Yes, it's a walking simulator, but it's one that makes you feel something. It made me think, made me emotional, and gave me some of the most unforgettable moments I've had in gaming. If you want a game that's truly different, Death Stranding is one that will stick with you long after you're done. Every time you jump into Forza Horizon 5, it's hard not to be swept up by its sheer sense of freedom and fun. The world is packed with life, colorful landscapes, bustling towns, and hidden corners begging to be discovered. Whether you're chasing speed records, pulling off perfect drifts, or simply taking in the scenery, the game encourages creativity and experimentation. There's a playful energy in every race and exploration session that keeps you coming back, making even short bursts of play feel satisfying and memorable. On the technical side, Forza Horizon 5 impresses with how well it performs across platforms, including cloud streaming. The visuals remain sharp, the environments rich and dynamic, and the gameplay fluid, ensuring that nothing gets lost even when you're not playing on the most powerful hardware. The massive car roster adds another layer of excitement, letting you tailor every experience to your preferred style, whether that's high-speed supercars, rugged off-road vehicles, or classic favorites. The social and multiplayer aspects of Forza Horizon 5 take the experience to another level entirely. Racing alongside friends or jumping into community events adds unpredictability and excitement that single player alone can't replicate. Coordinated convoys, competitive races, and seasonal challenges create moments of shared triumph and friendly rivalry, giving the game a living, dynamic quality. Beyond just driving, the game thrives on its endless variety of activities and challenges. Seasonal events, stunts, and races pop up dynamically, giving you new goals without ever feeling repetitive. Every corner of the map offers opportunities to experiment, discover hidden paths, or simply enjoy the scenery at your own pace. Forza Horizon 5 strikes a rare balance between casual accessibility and depth, providing both thrilling racing moments and a vibrant, open-world playground where exploration and fun are always rewarded. And that's it. 20 single-player games that completely hijacked my PS5 and my schedule. I started this thinking I'd just skim through a few favorites, and somehow ended up losing myself in hours of gameplay instead. Sleep was optional, productivity non-existent, but the fun? Absolutely worth it. These are the games that make you remember why we fell in love with gaming in the first place.